This is Julie Cushman from CVI Connect Live on Saturdays. Welcome back. Sorry for the late response. It's 11:04 and I had a couple of questions that we received via email that I'd like to go over. Feel free to leave any questions that you have through the thread and I'll answer those at this time. So the first one was, let's see. So there's one big question about more or less best practices about CVI and how to really incorporate interventions and communicating with the team. And not being a CVI or an IEP team member, we want to make sure that we're kind of just being generic in that piece of it. So there's lots of awesome resources out there, but more communication with your team members, the better relationship you're going to have, and the more education they have too of what resources are out there and how to implement interventions, the better off the team just in general will be. So let's see, so I think the one that came in, there were a lot of questions about how to do interventions and what times to do them. So I recommend, and Stephanie talked about it a little bit last week, about picking one big key time area where you can make your biggest impact first. And so maybe that's calendar time. And that calendar time, you can talk about numbers. So you can have accommodated numbers. So maybe they're highlighted outside, have red around them, or the biggest thing in my opinion is just really having a plain background. So APH has a great resource, their calendar, and having just a plain number. So maybe your students just looking at the number and not looking at the complexity of the calendar. So you're taking it off and putting it on a blackboard like the Wheatley. So then they're looking just at that number versus the Where's Waldo of all the different numbers. Another thing that I talk about with my student is what other events happen during that month. So maybe it's Christmas, maybe it's Thanksgiving, maybe it's Halloween or anything like that. Making sure to link together those different events throughout that month. So I have where it says the name, whatever month it is, so November, and then whatever day it is. You might have little circles and then you can count those and work on repetition with that. So I use like little red little circle counters and I put Velcro on them. So I put those on the Wheatley board, and then you can talk about that holiday or what's coming up or something special in that month. And the worksheet that I'm thinking of for my specific student is it has a whole bunch of things. It's got math, it's got writing, it's got all those different things. But if you can focus on one key area and really master that, you might do auditory with those other areas, just so they're getting that content, but really having a mastery level of finding your biggest focus and mastering that area. And then it also, again, doing those tasks and being able to complete those tasks, then you can build that relationship with the team. Again, if it's something that's not already in the CVI Connect, we can create those activities for you. If it's something general, then we can push it out to everyone's library. And there are some counting activities already in there. So it shows the number, being traced, and then it counts throughout it. So that I created that specifically for my student. In every activity, it was created for a specific student. So we have so-called phase 1 activities all the way through phase 3 activities, and those were all created either for Stephanie or my caseload or students through CVI Connect. So if you ever have any questions on how to implement those, please send us a message through CVI Connect. That's the most efficient way of us getting a response back to you, and plus it kind of gives us a little bit of where it came from. Every once in a while I'll go through my emails and I'll just get bombarded with a ton of emails, like every person, and they'll get lost. But when I go back through CVI Connect, it gives us exactly a a huge thread, and it'll tell us what those questions were, and we can reference back to them too and have your specific needs, so we can, have a better relationship of what your students' needs are. So that was one big key question. There's also resources in CVI Connect to really build those basic CVI needs. Those are great resources to pass along. And what I do with my parents, not to make sure I don't overwhelm them, is I talk about one section at a time. Little Bear Seas is an amazing book. And I've also printed, given those one chapter at a time to a teacher or to a parent just to work on. This is what it looks like for a child with CVI, and here's how they can progress and improve their vision. So those things are all helpful of taking it one piece at a time and trying not to overwhelm staff or parents and team members on the IEP team. So again, messaging through the app keeps it nice and organized for us. Stephanie is going to do a salient features next week. So if you have any questions or concerns about salient features, she will discuss that. So feel free to send an email and we can prepare a little bit for that. If you have a specific example, say for, math or, a certain animal or anything like that, where you have a specific example, that then we can prepare something, whether it be on the iPad or what we would have that look like. So that would be helpful. We have an overseas question on a fairly regular basis. I will actually read through one of our responses. Steve did a really good job in answering that. So unfortunately, at this time, we're unable to register users without a U.S. address. However, we recognize the need to reach users internationally and are working on a solution at this time. We are bound by Apple to only allow access to our app for users in the United States. It has to do with the way we encrypt the data. So obviously, the data encryption is a very good thing and is important to all of us. Currently, every country has its own rules and restrictions, so it's quite challenging. So if you'd like to sign up for our newsletter on cviconnect.co, at the very bottom, there's a newsletter. That will definitely be a big send out that we do. So we will let everyone know. We can also put your name on a list if that's of interest to you. So I apologize for that right now, but that is something that we are working towards. And let's see, I haven't seen anyone come in yet. So I'll wait just a couple more minutes. I'll see if anything's come to mind. And then I will sign off if we don't have anyone. So let's see. Oh, one of the activities that we've had, the letter activities, we're going to be revamping those now that we have the new platform with the teacher version, the professional version. We have a new platform and it will allow us to create everything with the bells and whistles. We have a font that is simple, with a A being just a circle with a line down versus the curly Q on the top. I know that was a frustration of mine whenever I go into a classroom and to see that A, because they're not teaching them to write that A, then it's kind of a little bit more for them to process why they look so different and things like that. So I'm really excited that we've got that new font into our app, and so we can work on those activities and create those in a more efficient manner. So I apologize that it's taken so long, but we are going to get rocking and rolling on that. That is on my to-do list. So don't see that anyone else has signed on. So as always, if you have any questions, please go to cviconnect.co and send us a message or email us, and we will respond back as soon as possible. Thank you very much and have a great day.